Hello, amazing healers. You're going to hear about how to use the right messaging to attract the right people to you. And what I mean by that is that a lot of us healers have our own language, and it is actually very specific to being an energy healer or a healer that works integratively. And if you use that language to describe who you are and what you're doing, a lot of times other people won't understand. So stay tuned to hear more about what I mean. I have interviewed hundreds of healers, and as a group, these loving, generous, and kind individuals want to improve the welfare of our planet, affecting millions, if not billions, of lives. Amongst the frustrations these amazing healers express during our conversations are the ability to attract stable income to sustain themselves, the loss of their life force energy when working with others, and even the lack of confidence or the fear of failing because of the responsibility of the well-being of others. I've had these very same frustrations myself during my 30-year healing history. When the calling to heal got so strong, I had to retire from my 40-year physics career. I needed to replace my six-figure salary fast. Standard sales and business techniques didn't always work for me as a highly sensitive introvert. Through trial and error and studying with many coaches, I developed a 4-step system that replaced my salary within 5 months. I've helped others develop their successful healing businesses, and I can help you too. I'm Dr. Anastasia Chopelas. Listen in to discover more. So welcome back. I'm so happy you're here again to talk about how to become a highly paid healer. So what I mean by language is it's really important the kind of messaging you create. And too many people focus on the process rather than the result, right? Because when people are searching for a result, they are looking for how to solve that problem right away. And instead of going through that, I work with you spiritually, emotionally, mentally, physically, relationally, financially, however you work with them, right? What they really are looking for is the result. And, you know, in our own highly specific language, I'll give you an example of how that works and that you may have experienced in your everyday life. So let's say that you're going to buy a computer, and you go into a computer store and you meet a guy who's totally enthusiastic about the inner workings of the computer. And you don't really care. You just want to plug it in, turn it on, load your program in, and have it work. But then he starts talking about the kind of bus that's there and the kind of disk drive. Is it a solid state drive? Is it a physical drive, one that actually rotates? And how fast the bus is, and what kind of processor it is, and how much memory it has, and so on. But you just tell the guy, look, I just want it to be fast, and I want to be able to edit videos on it very easily. So I need the right screen, I need the right processor, I need the right amount of memory, and I need the right program. But then he just keeps going on and on about all the inner workings of the computer, and your eyes roll back to the back of your head, and you just gotta go, okay, I need to go somewhere else, right? And that's exactly how a potential client will experience you using language such as, I work on your chakras, I work on your aura, I do a soul retrieval, we chant, we sit there and I'll have you do these movements and you'll say things, and they're going, what? No, I don't think I'm ready for that, right? So the main thing is that you want to convey to them that you have the solution to their problem. I mean, let's face it, somebody is out there praying for you to show up with their solution, because a lot of people come to me and they've been to 10 different practitioners, 10 different kinds of doctors. They've tried acupuncture, they've tried changing their diet, they've tried all sorts of things. And what they really need is what you have to offer, right? So that's the first thing. The second thing is that you need to use a normal people glossary, right? So if somebody is saying chakras, you can just say that your body has energy receptors. We absorb light, and that's a scientific fact. We know that for sure. And the light is absorbed into the body. We absorb all the, not just UV light or not just infrared, but we actually absorb all frequencies, and at least the ones that do good in our body. And then people will also talk about meridians. So meridians are the lines of energy that travel through the body. There's no physical part to the meridian, but we know they do because we've measured the traversing along there. And it turns out that there's a series of receptors along your meridians. This was discovered by Dr. Candace Pert, for example. She studied where the endorphin receptors were and found that they were aligned along the meridians and focused in on the acupuncture point. So this was the first time that an actual physical structure was associated with meridians, right? So you can just say this is where the impulses travel up and down the body, right? So they're energy channels. And and then if you start talking about auras, then people think that you're a little out there. We might be out there, that's okay. But that's kind of like, you know, as I mentioned, the computer language, and I spent 40 years in physics research. And in that physics research, each specialty, whether you were a crystallographer or whether you were a spectroscopist or whether you were, you know, a seismologist, whatever you were studying, you had specific words that were specific to that particular discipline. And it is exactly the same thing with energy healing, right? So you could be a shamanic practitioner and you have your own words. And or you could be just a strict Reiki healer and you have your own words, right? So you want to avoid those industry specific words to be able to connect with your ideal client. And some of the other things that I've heard some energy practitioners say is they talk about the fifth dimension, right? And that starts getting like kind of out there for people. And of course, we understand that that's the dimension of information. And we know that there is actually a mathematical transformation that gets you from, you know, dimensional space to informational space. But the average person doesn't understand that, and you probably don't even understand that, but I have actually done the mathematics, and you could even get an app on your phone that does it for you, right? You just have to plug in Fourier transform or sound analyzer or frequency analyzer, and it does that for you, right? But the average person doesn't know that. So you want to avoid that. And if somebody says, oh, you know, don't use the fifth dimension, you just say, well, it's in information space. You know, all the information is out there. It's all vibrating out there, and you can just call it the quantum field, for example. And it's the same thing with talking about the other side. You know, what's the quantum field? The quantum field is everything. It has all the information of how we are all formed, how this dimension, how this four-dimensional space is formed, four-dimensional height, width, depth, and time, right? We have time. The information doesn't need time. Exactly right. So I just want you to think about how you can reword things to really help your potential client understand that you have the solution that they're looking for. So I'll give you an example from a student of mine that had this question during one of our live sessions. And she said that she talked with a potential client, and this client was asking for exactly the solution that she had to offer. And so she talked about the kinds of shamanic healing that she was doing and the chanting and the kinds of things that she does in a session, and the potential client backed away. And then she says, I don't know how to express that in everyday language. But we know, for example, that the subconscious controls the bodily functions. The subconscious controls your heartbeat, it controls your nerve impulses, it controls like how you move, right? When you get up and go for a walk, you don't think each foot in front of the other. It's just done automatically. That's all controlled by the subconscious. And also the cerebellum and the limbic system of the brain control everything. It controls the way your hormones secrete. It controls it. So trust me, everything is there. And so when you do certain symbolic things, and the subconscious operates symbolically, that if you do certain things, just like when you go to church, if you are a church goer or a temple goer or whatever your fundamental beliefs are, that when you light a candle, the candle is like the light in the darkness, and that's symbolic. So you light the candle and you're asking for a light to come down and bless you or answer your prayers or whatever. Every little thing that we do, we have rituals and they're symbolic. And so that operates on the subconscious level. And that's what you can explain to them, that your subconscious needs to participate in the healing. And this has been very effective for other clients. So we'll do things like, I'll have you raise one hand and say something, and this will really help it cement into your body and help expedite the healing process. So that is a really easy way to enroll people, by explaining those kinds of things. Right? So this way you can avoid using the woo language, which I love, right? You can avoid using the woo language and enroll people in it. And you won't have to have people coming telling you, I believe in everything you're doing. You don't have to have them believe anything, right? You just have to have them trust you that you have the solution. And when people tell me, I believe in everything you're doing, and I always say, it's not a matter of belief, it's actually a matter of evidence. And since I'm a scientist, I trust the evidence more than I trust the belief, right? And so belief has a role, right? But when somebody comes and tells you that, that's the easiest way. So in summary, today I talked about how using the right language to express to your potential client that you have the solution that you're looking for is really, really important. It has to be simple, has to be clean, it has to be focused on the solution. And the number 2 is to avoid the buzzwords that we use in your kind of healing, whatever you use in your kind of healing, whether it's Reiki healing or shamanic healing or massage therapy. You just stick to the words that the average normal person can understand. And then the last is, if you have to have them participate, is that have them participate by giving them the clue that when they do, it expedites the healing, because the subconscious is involved and the subconscious runs the body, and you all know that, right? Okay, that's it for today. I look forward to seeing you in the next video. Thank you for spending your valuable time with me. If you found this message helpful, please subscribe to my channel, give me a thumbs up or a 5-star rating, and share it with your friends. To discover more about the 4-step system for attracting a generous income as a healer or an intuitive coach without burning out, sign up for my free training at www.highpaidhealers.com. I look forward to seeing you there and in the next video.